What's going on, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to show it to you right now. This is the new album from the band Putrid Pile, entitled Blood Fetish. This is released on Severed Records. Now, to bring you up to speed with this band, they're based out of Racine, Wisconsin, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be plain and simple, brutal death metal. Very meat and potatoes, but it's a meat and potatoes style of brutal death metal that you wouldn't want to have any other way. You like it just the way it is, and that's how Putrid Pile gets the job done. Putrid Pile is one man, and that one man is Sean LeCan. He does everything. Guitar, bass, drums, drum programming, vocals. He does it all. Writes the music, writes the lyrics. Yeah. He's part of a very, very wide dynamic of one-man death metal bands as far as brutal death metal is concerned. I mean, if you want to throw in bands like, let's say, maybe Bloodsoaked or Cemetery Rapist or Chainsaw Dissection, to even the great Sean Whitaker of Insidious Decrepancy and Viral Load fame. Sean LeCan is in a league of his own, and so far he's really continued to step his game up on both a lyrical and a musical front throughout the better part of the last 10 years. Really, really awesome older stuff like Collection of Butchery and The Pleasure and Suffering. Those albums really had some awesome, awesome songs on there. Preferably Food for the Maggots. I love that song. It's really one of my favorite brutal death metal songs. To even later on in his catalog with House of Dementia. That was a really, really solid album. And then in 2010, he did that split with Viral Load. I thought that was just godly. Every song on there ruled, but Putrid Pile's side was a lot more professional, a lot more smoother, and a lot more solid. And of course, last year I saw him live, and he is a great, great guy. He's awesome live, just the way he's just the stage presence, the facial expressions. It's just awesome. He's a great, great guy. See him live if you ever get the chance to. But now, all this time later, we get to Blood Fetish. It's 11 tracks, and it runs about 32 minutes in length. It's a much shorter album this time around because the usual Putrid Pile album would probably run around 31 to 32 minutes. The last album was pretty lengthy, considering it was like 13 tracks long, but now we get to a shorter Putrid Pile album. And the first thing that pops out at you right away is the fact that this is a very clean-sounding brutal death metal record. You wouldn't really expect something to sound so professionally upgraded and clean. Not clean to the point where it's going to distract you, but clean to the point where you appreciate the way everything sounds and the way that everything is played. I think it's a very, very top-notch production with this album. Now we get on to the music. Like I said, he plays everything. He does everything. The guitars are a lot more diverse this time around. And by that, he mixes it up just a little bit. I'm liking the inclusion of the different riffs, especially on the first two tracks, the title track and Necronito. Really, really awesome, heavy, brutal death metal riffs. The solo on Necronito is something you didn't see coming. I really, really like that a lot. I really wish this album would have more of a usage of solos, because really I think he's a great guitar player. But other than that, he really just gets the job done here. It's very, very awesome. Bass-wise, it's suitable. It's a very suitable bass tone. Very good and solid. Mainly guitar-driven throughout this album, but the bass is there. You hear it. You feel it. Drum-wise, the drums are programmed, but the way Sean handles it, it sounds very, very good. It works very well. I like the way that the double bass sounds. I really like the way that the blast beats and the snare drum sounds. Just the way the cymbals are sounding. They sound really, really good. It works. And it mainly has a good solid pace throughout. And vocals, I've said this before, and I'm pretty sure I'll say it again. This guy's vocals are just so guttural, so inhuman. I mean, if you were to see him live, his mouth is is about a few inches away from the microphone. He really does sound like that. It isn't anything distorted or messed with. That's really how his vocals are, and it's just amazing. And here it's no different. You get your usual undecipherable guttural growls. You really can't understand or make out a word of what he's saying, even if there are lyrics there. He really just does it in just such a brutal manner. And his highs are just awesome. He has some really, really good highs. I wish he would use them more often. And to the points where his vocals do layer, the highs and the lows layer together, it kind of might tire you out at first, but after a few more listens, you'll get more comfortable with it and appreciate it. It's really solid. And lyric-wise, it's your usual Putrid Pile lyrics about blood and death and sex and all this other crazy stuff. You wouldn't expect it any other way from Putrid Pile. It's, like I said in the beginning, it's meat and potatoes brutal death metal, but you wouldn't want it any other way from this project. It's awesome. So overall, this is probably the best solo effort this Putrid Pile project has put out. Really, really top-notch production, really solid music, really good solid emphasis in the vocals and lyrics. And I should also mention the song Deep Fried Evil. It's a short song, it's only about a minute long. The lyrics are from Paul from Cerebral Bore, basically about having fun eating haggis. That's some really entertaining stuff. I dig that song a lot. But out of the songs, some of my favorites include Blood Fetish, Necronito, Strangulation is the Only Answer, and the aforementioned Deep Fried Evil. Pretty good stuff. So I'm going to show you the album again. This is Blood Fetish by Putrid Pile. This is released on Severed Records. Go pick this up, and this gets an 8 out of 10. Very fun listen, and if you're a Putrid Pile fan, you will enjoy this thoroughly and enjoyably. You know where I'm going with this. So 8 out of 10. Check out Putrid Pile. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks all for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel, and until the next time, Armijo out.